Hello everyone. Today in this session we are going to discuss about introduction to computer. First we'll see the definition. Definition of the computer is an electronic machine that can store, recall and process data. It can perform tasks or complex calculation according to set of instructions and programs. So the abbreviation of the computer is it is commonly operated machine used in technical and educational research. Computer understand only machine level language, and the CPU is also called as the brain of the computer. Then we'll see how does the computer work. It is as simple as making compared to making a tea. To prepare a tea, what we need a water, we need a tea powder, we need a milk and we need a sugar. These are all considered as inputs. Whatever the things that we need before we prepare the tea, those are all considered as input. After adding all those things, we have to boil. That boiling is called as the processing. And after boiling, we get the tea is ready, and that is the final output. So similarly, the computer works based on the input, processing and output. The inputs we have input devices such as keyboard, mouse. From that input will be given, and the processing will takes place in the central processing unit. After the processing is processed, the output will be displayed on the output devices such as monitors, printer, etc. This is in this diagram we can see this is the input process output cycle, IPO cycle. Next heading is characteristic of computer. What are the different characteristics of computers? The characteristics are speed, storage, accuracy, versatility, flexibility, cost effectiveness. We will discuss this one by one in detail. The speed. The computer works very fast. The speed of the computer is measured in terms of this MIPS, million instructions per second, or it is also measured in terms of BIPS, billion instruction per second. For example, a money counting machine counts money faster than a man. That is the speed of the computer. That is the characteristic, one of the characteristic of a computer. Next characteristic is storage. The computer can store a very large of data and information. A storage capacity of computer is measured in terms of bytes. A group of 8 bits is called a byte. That is the storage characteristic. Next one is accuracy. The computer generate result are exact and without any mistake with high rate of consistency. Next characteristic is delicacy. Unlike human beings, a computer does not suffer from any limitations, like it doesn't get any tired and it doesn't have any lack of concentration, like that things. It can work for hours without any making an errors. Next, versatility. The versatility characteristic is computers are capable of performing any task, and multiprocessing features of computer make it quite versatile in nature. The computer can be adapted to any field easily. It is used for scientific calculations, business processing, for playing games, teaching, training, etc. things. Next one is flexibility. The flexibility would involve number of things that you can do with the computer. While some are best used for simple business tasks and filing of tasks, and others are good for multimedia, gaming and so on. This is flexibility characteristic. Another one is cost effectiveness. Computers reduce the amount of paperwork and the human effort, thereby reducing the cost. So suppose for example, if you want to do some work, the human being usually will take more paper or more effort to do that work. So that will increases the cost, whereas the computer reduces the workload of the human effort and the paperwork, that reduces the cost. So it is cost effectiveness. These are the characteristics of the computer. The next topic is components of computer systems. There are four components in the computer system. They are hardware, software, data and communication, users. These are the four components in the computer system. First one, hardware. What is an hardware? The physical part of a computer system is called as a hardware. So physical part is nothing but that we can able to touch, we can able to see, and we can able to feel. Those will be called as the physical parts, and those components will be called as a hardware component. The hardware components are fixed inside or outside the computer system. Either that may be inside or that may be outside. For example, keyboard, mouse, pointer, monitor, printer, RAM, CPU, etc. These are the hardware components. Next component is software component. A set or collection of programs is called as a software. The software is a computer program written using some programming languages to operate the computer. Software tells the hardware what to do. And unlike hardware, we cannot touch the software. We cannot touch the software like hardware. Examples of the softwares are operating system, TUX Paint, Office packages, Nudi, Adobe Reader, computer games, etc. These are the some of the softwares of the computer. And next one is data and information. Data is a collection of unprocessed items. Data is a collection of unprocessed items, raw facts, which can include either the data may be a text, data may be a number, data may be a audio or video. The data is the raw information or basic facts that the computer can process. For example, param 60. The computer processed data is called as information, which gives the particular meaning. For example, name is equals to param, age is equals to 60. In the previous example, like in the data, we don't know what is param and we don't know what is 16. That is the raw information, that is the basic facts. Whereas in the information, it will give what is the param. Param is a name. And what is the 16? 16 is the age of the person of the param. That is the difference of the data and the information. Next one is users. People who use the computer are called users. These these computer operators are called as computer users. The people who uses this computer, those are called as the users. The software is broadly classified into two types. One is system software and another one is application software. System software, it is one of the type of the computer program that is designed to control and work with computer hardware to run a computer's hardware and application programs. For example, Microsoft Windows, Linux, DOS, etc. are the system softwares. Application software, it is a type of a software written by the user to perform a particular task like drawing a picture, playing a computer game. Examples are Paint, Nudi, and Office packages, etc. Difference between hardware and software. The hardware, it is the physical component of the computer. Software is it is a set of programs or set of instruction. Hardware can touch, see and feel. The softwares we cannot able to touch, see and feel. Hardwares are constructed using physical material or components. So the softwares are developed by the programming languages. Hardwares are not affected by computer virus. The softwares are affected by the computer virus. In the hardware, user cannot make copies. User can make copies in the software. Example of the hardware is monitor, keyboard, RAM, and the example of the software is operating system, text editor, NUDI, etc. etc. We have a number of softwares. Next heading is functional component of a computer. Basically, any computer is supposed to carry out the following functions. It accepts the data and programs as input. It stores the data, program and retrieve as and when required. Process the data as per instruction given by program and convert it into useful information. Communicate the information as the output. The block diagram of the computer is a computer is designed using four basic units. Those are input unit, CPU, central processing unit. In the CPU, we'll have two more subunits. Those are control unit and arithmetic logic units, ALU, and memory unit, output unit. This is the block diagram of the computer. The input, the CPU, and the output and the memory unit. This is the block diagram of the computer. First we'll see input unit. What is an input unit? The computer needs to receive the data and instruction in order to solve a problem. The input unit performs this operation. The input unit basically links the external world or environment to the computer system. The input unit may consist of one or more input devices. The keyboard and the mouse of the computers are most commonly used input devices. CPU, Central Processing Unit. As I told you in the first slide, that is, it is called as the brain of the computer. It is the main part of the computer system, like it is the heart of the human. Most computers are identified by the type of the CPU that is present in them. The function of the CPU is to interrupt the instruction in the program and execute them one by one. It consists of two major units. One is central control unit and arithmetic and logic unit. What the control unit will do, it controls and directs the transfer of program and instructions and data between the various units. The main activity is to maintain order and direct the operations of entire system. The arithmetic and logic unit performs arithmetic and logical operations and controls the speed of these operations. Arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and logical operations like and or not, and relational operations like less than, greater than, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to are being carried out in this unit. It is going to perform all the arithmetic operations and the logical operations. Next part is memory unit. The data and the instructions required for processing have to be stored in the memory unit before the actual processing starts. In a similar manner, the results generated from processing have to be preserved before it is displayed. The memory units thus provides space to store input data and intermediate results and final output generated. The secondary storage devices are additional memory storage devices such as floppy disk, magnetic disk, hard disk drive, compact disk, compact disk, DVDs. DVDs is nothing but digital versatile discs, etc., which are used to store huge information for the future use. Note: the input unit and the input unit and output unit and secondary storage devices are together called as peripheral devices. We'll call all together this as the peripheral devices. Peripheral devices is nothing but peripheral devices. It is the combination of the input device, output unit, and all the secondary storage devices. Next, last part of the block of the computer is output unit. Output unit, it is used to print and display the results which are stored in the memory unit. The actual function of the output unit is just the reverse of the input unit. Thus, the output unit links the computer to the outside world. The monitor and printer are most commonly used output units. That is about the computer. Next topic is evolution of the computer. How the computer is evolved. First one, abacus. Approximately 4000 years ago, the Chinese invented the abacus. It was first machine used for counting and calculating. It is made of a wooden frame, metal rods and wooden beds. Abacus was mainly used for addition, subtraction, later for division and multiplication. Today, the abacus is still used widely in China and other Asian countries to count and calculate just as we use calculator. Napier bones. In the early 17th century, John Napier, a Scottish mathematician, invented another calculating tool. Napier's bone was based on manipulating of rods with printed digits. The rods were made of bone, ivory, wood, and or metal. The set consists of 10 rectangular blocks with multiples of a different digits on each of the four sides. The slide rule. The slide rule was invented by William Othard. It is based on the principle that actual distance from the starting point of the rule is directly proportional to the logarithmic of the numbers printed on the rule. The slide rule is embodied by the two sets of scales that are joined together with marginal space between them. Adding machine Pascaline in 1642, at the age of 16, a French mathematician by name of Pascal invented the Pascaline. The Pascaline is known as the first mechanical and automatic calculator. The Pascaline was a wooden box that could only add and subtract by means of the series of gears and the wheels. It had a box with 8 movable wheels called dials. When each wheel rotated one revolution, it would then turn the neighboring wheel. Leibniz calculator. The mathematician Leibniz built a calculator in 1650 that could add, subtract, multiply and divide the numbers. Jacques Loom in 1801, Joseph Mary Jacquard invented the Jacquard loom, a poured loom that used punched wooden cards to automatically view incredibly detailed patterns including pictures and text. This can be taken as the first read-only memory device. Difference and analytical engine. In early 1820s, the English mathematician by name Charles Babbage designed a computing machine called difference engine. This machine was to be used in calculating and printing a simple math table. In 1830s, he designed a second computing machine called analytical engine. This machine constructed 5 units, which became the basic principle for developing a modern computer. Hence, Charles Babbage is known as the father of the computer. In 1833, first programmer lady Ada Lovelace was first computer programmer who designed a program for Babbage's analytical engine. In 1890, the tableting machine in 1889, the American named Herman Hollerith invented a counting machine to count the population of the USA. This electronic machine is able to read the information on the punched cards and process it electronically. Herman Hollerith was the founder of the company, then became famous as the IBM. That is about the evolution of the computer. The next topic is history of computer. Depending upon the development of the technology, the generation of computers are classified as five generations. First generation of the computer is from 1940 to 1956. The first generation of the computer is started with using vacuum tubes as the basic components. The speed of these computers was very slow, storage capacity was very less, and these computers are large in size. This generation computers operated only on machine language. Input was based on punched cards, paper tapes, and output was obtained as printout. Some computers of this generation were um, ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator, UNIVAC, that is Universal Arithmetic Computer. ENIAC, it stands for Electrical Numerical Integrator and Computer. It used a word of 10 decimal digits instead of binary ones like previous automated calculators. ADVAC, it stands for Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. It was to be a vast improvement upon ANIAC. This idea was how to program for the computer to store inside the computer. UNIAC, Universal Arithmetic Computer, was the first commercial computer produced in the United States. That is about first generation of the computer. Second generation of the computer from 1956 to 1963. In this generation, transistors were used in place of vacuum tubes. These machines were much faster, more reliable than their earlier machines. It generates less heat and consumed less electricity as compared to first generation computers. Second generation computers are used punched cards for input and printout for output. This computer moved from the use of machine language to the assembly level language. The computer stored their instruction in their memory, which moved from magnetic drum to the magnetic core technology. Some computers of this generation were IBM 1620, IBM 7094, CDC, that is Control Data Cooperation 1604 and 3600, and UNI VAC 1108. That is about second generation. Third generation of computer from 1964 to 1971. In the third generation of computer, integrated circuits were used in place of transistors. In this generation, keyboard, monitors were used instead of punched cards and printout. These ICs were increased the speed of processing and the storage capacity. These computers were more reliable, smaller in size, very faster. The maintenance cost of these computers were very low compared to all the previous generations, and it consumes very less electricity. Some computers of this generation were IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 series, PDP personal data processor, IBM 370 168. The fourth generation of computer, it is from 1971 to 1981. In fourth generation of the computer, microprocessors were used in place of integrated circuits. The fourth generation of computer is marked by use of very large scale integrated circuits. This made computers smaller in size and became very more powerful, and they could be linked to one form network. Some computers of this generation were mini computer, mainframe computer, and the personal computer. Fifth generation of the computer, that is from 1980 to till date, whatever we are currently using. The fifth generation computer involves the concept of artificial intelligence, which made the computer think like human being. This computer uses VLSI, very large scale integration, and ULSI, ultra large scale integration technology. These computers are more intelligent and faster compared to other generation computers. Types of this generation computers are desktop, laptop, notebook, robot, etc. So these are the generations of the computers. The material used in the first generation is vacuum tube. In the second generation, transistors are used. In the third generation, integrated circuits are used. In the fourth generation, VLSI microprocessors are used. In the fifth generation, ULSI microprocessors are used. And the features are whatever we studied in the last slides. Those features will be given. Next topic is classification of computer. How the computers are classified. The classification of the computers that depends upon the various factors. As you see in the diagram, depend upon the construction and the working, the computers are classified as analog, digital and hybrid. Depend upon the usage, it classified as special purpose and general purpose. Depend upon the size and capability, it classifies as microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe computer and supercomputer. Depend upon the area of application, the computers are classified as business, scientific. Depends upon the number of users, it is going to classify as single user, multi-network user. Classification based on the purpose. According to purpose, the computers are classified as the general purpose and specific purpose. General purpose computers are designed to perform a range of tasks. They have an ability to store numerous of programs but lack in the speed and efficiency. The specific purpose computers are designed to handle a specific problem or to perform a specific task. The classification based on the operation. One is analog, digital and hybrid. Analog computers works on the continuous data. Analog computers operates on the measuring rather than the counting. Analog computers are all calculating takes place in parallel. Hence it is very faster. Modern analog computers uses electrical parameters such as voltages, resistance, currents to represent the quantities being manipulated. The digital computers thus are depends upon the works on the principle of this is discontinuous data, the discrete data. The digital computer operates on the digital data such as numbers. It uses binary number system in which there will be only two digits, one is 0 and 1. Each one is called as a bit. They can be converted data into bits, binary bits. And hybrid computers are combination of both analog and digital computer. They accepts both the analog and the digital data for processing. Hybrid computers incorporate measuring features in the analog and the counting feature in the digital. For computational purpose, these computers uses analog components for storage and digital memories are used. Nowadays, analog to digital computer and digital to analog computers use it to transfers data into suitable forms. The difference between the analog and the digital computers are in the analog computer, it operates on the continuous value of data, whereas in the digital computer, the discrete value of data. Analog computer gives only approximate result, digital computer gives the accurate result. Analog computer processing is slow, digital computer processing is fast. They have analog computer have very limited use and the digital computer are versatile. Analog computers have small memory and less reliable. Digital computer has large memory and more reliable. The classifications based on the configuration. There are four categories are there: microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers and supercomputers. Microcomputers, these are also called as personal computers. It was introduced in 1970. The number of processing in microcomputer will be one or two processor. It contains input devices, output devices, storage devices and processors. The number of processors will be one or two. It is used by one person at a time. Example: desktop, laptops, notebooks, tablets, palm tops, smartphones, etc. Uses of microcomputers, it are used in desktops either in office or in the homes. Children enjoy playing games, watching movies in this computer. They are cheap and user friendly. These operations can be used learned by anyone having the logical aptitude. Mini computer. Mini computers are introduced in 1960. These are very larger, more powerful than the PC. It include it can execute 5 million instructions per second. It generally consists of two or more processors. Mini computer can serve up 40,000 connected users simultaneously. It is normally accessed by users via a personal computer or terminal. A device with monitor and keyboard is called as a terminal. What are the uses of the mini computers? It is very small. Medium-sized companies can be used to provide the centralized store of information. They are used for data processing. Mainframe computers. So these are introduced in 1975. It is very large computer in size. It is very more powerful than the mini computer and consists of multiple processors. It is designed to perform multiple tasks for multiple users at the same time. The user accesses a mainframe computer through personal computer. It can execute 16 million instructions per second. Example CDC 6600. Uses of this mainframe computers are it is used in large organization. There are they are big computer systems sensitive to temperature, humidity, dust, etc. Qualified and trained operators are required to operate them. They have wide range of peripheral attached. They have large storage capacity. They can use a wide variety of software. They are not user friendly. They can be used for more mathematical calculations. Supercomputers. Supercomputers were introduced in 1980. Supercomputers are very fastest computer. Supercomputer is the biggest in size and most expensive in price than other computers. Supercomputer is the most sophisticated, complex, advanced computer. It has very large storage capacity. It can process trillions of instructions in 1 second. Supercomputers are used for highly calculations intensive tasks. Supercomputers are designed for ultra high performance tasks such as weather analysis, encryption, cracking, and creation of the animation. Example IBM, Blue Gene, uh, Param, Padma, etc. Uses of supercomputers are it is used in weather forecasting, it is used in animated graphics like Hollywood movies, it is used in nuclear energy research, it is used in space science, it is used in weapons and missiles design, petroleum exploration, etc. Supercomputers in India were started in 1980s late because Cray supercomputers was denied for import due to an arm embargo imposed in India. As it was a dual use technology and could be used for developing nuclear. Param 8000 was India's first supercomputer. It was industrial built in 1990 by Center of Development of Advanced Computing and was replicated and installed at ICAD Moscow in 1991 using Russian collaborators. So these are the another supercomputers Anupam. The organization is Barak Saga 220 Vikram 100 Param Yuva. These are the another supercomputers. The last topic is applications of computers. Where the application computers can be used. The computers can be used in schools and colleges, banks, offices, stock exchange and stock controls in business firms, research and developments, entertainment and news, government offices, satellite communication, publishing, travel, computer aided manufacture, camp, hospitals, etc. In all those areas, the computers will be used. This is about this session. In this session, we discussed about the introduction of the computer, characteristics of the computer, components of the computer, difference between hardware and software, functional components of computer, block diagram of computer, evaluation of computer, history of computer, classification of the computer based on the different operations, and finally the applications of the computer. This is about this session. Thank you.